The Samsung Galaxy S10e is what the iPhone XR is to the iPhone XS. All these numbers and letters are getting pretty confusing, and I'm going to try and help explain to you what the S10e is and how it differs from Samsung's standard Galaxy S10 and larger Galaxy S10 Plus. But just know that the S10e is Samsung's more budget-friendly handset that offers more or less the same features as the other two flagships. The E actually stands for Essential because it has all of the supposed essential features of the S10 with a cheaper price. It's about $750, comes in 4 different color combos, at least at launch, and it's available on all of the major carriers here in the US. The box is right in line with the past Galaxy phones I've unboxed over the past few years. There's nothing really too unusual here. We do have the E to help differentiate it from the other models, and it's neat to see the mention of 128 gigabytes of internal storage. The base model has 128 gigs of storage, which is pretty awesome. Inside the box, we'll find the Galaxy S10e sitting right on top with a little pull tab to help you lift it out of the cradle. Underneath, we have a fast charging US wall wart, a USB-A to male USB-C adapter, which is still neat to see. Samsung include this adapter here. They've included it ever since they made the switch to USB-C in mid to late 2016 with the Note 7. There's a USB-C charging cable, of course, and what looks to be a very solid pair of earphones. These are AKG earphones with a braided cable, headphone jack, and various sized ear tips. It's really nice to see quality earphones included in the box. You don't really see these as much nowadays. And it's also nice to see earphones with a headphone jack as opposed to a USB-C or a Lightning connector. If you're like me and you get to this point and start wondering where all the paperwork is, look underneath the top portion of the box. Mine was actually stuck there, so I had to shake it until it fell out. In this folder, we'll see a SIM card ejector tool, some warranty and get started information, and a note about the pre-installed screen protector. Samsung included them on the Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus because of the ultrasonic in-display fingerprint scanners, which need a very special screen protector and cannot work if there's any sort of major damage to the display. Since the S10e actually relies on a traditional side-mounted fingerprint scanner, I didn't really expect to see a note about the screen protector here. I didn't expect to see a pre-installed screen protector, but I would say it's a pleasant surprise. Anyway, now we can take a look at the S10e and take off the protective plastic. I'm gonna keep the screen protector on to see how it holds up during my testing, but I do usually take them off because I usually don't like how they feel. Thankfully though, this one does feel really good based upon first impressions. Some things that stood out to me right away, the fingerprint scanner, the power sleep on-off button, this combo button here is on the right side towards the very top of the phone. It's a little bit high up for my liking, but since I use my phone with my left hand, I can just shimmy up my left pointer index finger and unlock the phone that way, which I think is actually slightly more comfortable than if I were using the phone with my right hand, as I need to move my right thumb up. And after registering all of my fingers, it seems to work pretty darn well. While it seems like it's easier for me to reach this button with my index finger, it actually seems to like my thumb better. When I use the thumb on my right hand, it unlocks the phone like razor fast. It might actually be one of the fastest fingerprint scanners I've ever used. But with my left index finger, sometimes it just doesn't detect my finger. Maybe I have to re-register it some more. I don't know. Also, the Bixby button is smaller. Yay! The rear of the phone is much cleaner as there's no fingerprint scanner awkwardly crammed in next to the camera sensors. You just get your main lens and an ultra wide angle lens. I went with the blue variant, as you can see, which looks good. It's PhoneDog's native colors, but it's really reflective. It could almost act as a mirror. It's that reflective. Overall, I really like the size of this phone. It fits so comfortably in the hands. It really does feel great, and Samsung has done a great job to help make this phone look as good as it feels. With that said, if I really want to get nitpicky, it does kind of bother me that the bottom bezel is chunkier than the other 3 sides of the phone, and the pre-installed screen protector actually extends slightly more than the display itself, which isn't super noticeable. But as the edges of the screen protector pick up dust and lint and stuff over time, it could start to look a little bit bad. It could kind of get like an outline of dust and debris. I mean, I suppose if it really bothers you, you could just take it off. The 5.8-inch dynamic AMOLED display, it looks stunning. It has excellent viewing angles, deep blacks, vibrant colors, and gets super bright. It's a top-notch display. There is a hole cut out of the display to make room for the 10 megapixel front-facing camera. There's just one, unlike the S10 Plus, which has two since there's a wide-angle front-facing camera. I was skeptical of the hole punch design at first, but after using the phone for 24 hours now, it really just fades away. I think I actually like it more than the traditional notch, even those minimal teardrop notches like the one we see in the OnePlus 6T. What bothers me more than the cutout itself is the software. The notification bar is elongated and the icons aren't centered in that bar, so it just kind of looks a little bit off. When the bar is transparent, it kind of blends in with the application. It's not really that big of an issue, but when it's not, it can look pretty bad. It's also worth noting that Samsung did add a bunch of different wallpapers that do help hide the cutout. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see that most of these wallpapers at least are faded in the upper right-hand corner. Many are just straight up black. The S10e runs Android Pie with Samsung's new One UI skin that is much cleaner and more functional than the skins to come before it. You get more modern colors, you get a super sick dark mode that I use 100% of the time, and it works across most Samsung apps. I actually switched to the Samsung browser instead of Chrome because the browser supports this dark mode. I just like the dark mode that much. The Bixby button can also be reprogrammed to open up an app of your choice, so long as it's not another voice assistant. I know, it's lame, but it's a step in the right direction. The phone packs a Snapdragon 855 octa-core processor with 6 gigabytes of RAM, and with the new UI, it runs buttery smooth out of the box. Samsung has gotten rid of the telephoto sensor in favor of an ultra-wide 16 megapixel f2.2 sensor. That's so much more fun to play around with. The field of view is so great that you'll probably have to move your fingers and reposition the phone when you first boot up the app and kick it into this new mode. Otherwise, they'll get in the way of the shot. This ultra-wide sensor accompanies a standard 12 megapixel sensor with the same variable aperture setup we saw last year in the S9. So it gets this wide f1.5 aperture and a narrow f2.4 aperture that can change depending on the lighting conditions. Also, the 10 megapixel front-facing camera now can record 4K video, which is huge, especially if you're a vlogger. It does appear to be pretty shaky, but at least you'll be able to take super high-resolution video and use your screen as a little monitor to help you frame your shot. Battery life looks promising too, as it features a 3100 milliamp hour cell, which is 100 milliamp hours larger than the S9's battery. It's way too early to tell how this battery fares with daily usage, but it does seem to last me about 5 hours of screen on time, at least during the first day of using this phone. In addition to wireless charging support, this phone has a reverse wireless charging feature, so you can charge other Qi-enabled devices just by setting them on the back of the phone. It only charges at 9 watts, but it's a great feature, especially for accessories like Samsung's new Galaxy Buds, which can charge wirelessly. So if you want a larger battery, a larger display, maybe slightly more RAM, a telephoto sensor, and or an ultrasonic in-display fingerprint scanner, then you have the option to shell out a couple $100 more for the S10 or S10 Plus. But other than the larger battery, I don't really see how any of those other features could justify the extra cost. This feels like the Galaxy S10 variant that offers the most bang for your buck. I mean, on top of everything else I mentioned earlier, you still get Bluetooth 5.0, you still get Wi-Fi 6, a headphone jack, wireless charging with reverse charging support, stereo speakers, and a microSD card slot, just to name a few features. You get quite a lot. So let me know what you think of the Galaxy S10e in a comment down below. Will it be your next smartphone? Let me know what you're thinking. As always, I'm Beau HD from PhoneDoug.com. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you right back here in the next one. See ya.